welcome back. Thank you for clicking to watch this video. Today I'm starting off with Dodger for a series that I like to start doing, mostly just to kind of help myself with learning how to create better character designs. That's by taking some well-known, easily recognizable characters from film, TV, and kind of redrawing them as if they were characters that I was using in my own projects. So kind of taking this, with Dodger for example, and drawing him in my own style with my own stylization choices, while also keeping his actual character design in check and in mind. I chose Dodger today for a couple of reasons. One, him being pretty much the opposite of what I draw. He's short, stocky, he has a very tiny little cranium and a huge muzzle. He's got these little lop ears, short tail, just features that I generally don't get to spend a lot of time drawing, and I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to start doing this project, I should probably start with something that I'm not going to be terribly comfortable with, but also it's a dog, so it gives me a little bit of a safety blanket. Also, my partner, for some reason, keeps referencing this movie and bringing it up, and I keep thinking about it. And I thought the other day, I don't know, he said something, and I was thinking, Dodger's actually a really interesting character, and I like his design choices. I should probably draw that character at some point. So I was sitting down to do this today and figured, okay, that makes sense. Dodger makes sense. He sounds like a good character to start with. So it's clearly taking a little bit of time here in the beginning to figure out his face shape. It was taking me quite a bit to nail how I wanted to have the head in proportion to his muzzle. Because like I said, it is obviously much larger than the cranium part, and he also has gigantic eyeballs. So usually if I'm going to draw a character with large eyes, it's going to be because they're young, they're a puppy, they're a baby, they're a toddler, something like that. So I was trying to keep the kind of design choice in mind while also making it make sense with the way that I draw things. So I feel like this is going to be an exercise in why I'm making the choices that I'm making and kind of looking back and deciding, was that actually a good choice? Was that just me operating out of habit? Doing this today, I can already tell that a lot of the decisions that I made were in fact done just out of habit, and I just kind of sat down and drew this character. I tried to treat it the way that I do as far as the sketch goes, like whenever I do character illustration or sketch commissions, where people send me the references of their characters and say, okay, here's what their personality is, here's what they look like, and then go from there. So I wanted to take this character's personality into account and kind of his body shape and I want it to look like him. At the end of the day, I want people to look at that and say, oh yeah, that's Dodger. But I don't want to just copy, I don't want to just like trace these and say that I did that, Initially I was going to try drawing him sitting in like a silly little pose, but then I thought, no, this is a character where the body shape is really shown off in a standing position, so I was trying to come up with a way to make the skeleton make sense to me. He has a very bizarre body shape compared to what I'm used to. He's got like a stocky little terrier body and then a huge tuck up in the back, like a sighthound would have. And then he's got these really short, stubby legs and short knee area, but a long pastern. So I was trying to kind of figure out how to make that work. And I initially started out drawing like the leg is a lot thinner than it should be because I was trying to figure out, using kind of my knowledge of like how the skeleton should be put in there roughly with the shoulder and everything. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna draw that first and then I'll go back in and add layers and make more sense as far as his character design goes. I ended up liking the body shape quite a bit. That's a very like cartoony kind of animation style sort of body shape to have, but it's not the one that I would normally go for. I spend a lot of time drawing like both kind of characters. They have a very square, kind of rectangular kind of body shape. There is not really a tuck up on a lot of those kinds of shapes, but on like this little terrier guy, it's very pronounced. So I did his sketch, I got his basic sketch done, and then I wanted to go back over it and do like a cleaner one. If this were like a commission or like something I really wanted to make look nice, I'd go back in and do another over this with very clean line art. But I really like the sketchy look, and my excuse is that this is just for practice and just for fun, and I can do what I want. Also, I think I said earlier, I love thick eyebrows. I love putting thick eyebrows on characters, especially for some reason feminine characters. Like, I absolutely love the thick eyebrow look, so any excuse to give a character dense brows, I will. So I had a really great time making them even thicker than his already are. The eye shape was kind of difficult for me to figure out because, like I said, Dodger has massive eyeballs, and I don't really draw eyes in the kind of overly cartoony style like they have here. They made these look like Pluto eyeballs. Very cylindrical and just kind of one eyelid on the top that closes down to the bottom. So I was trying to kind of give him the larger youthful eyeball look without completely sacrificing the sense of stylization that I had going. I think I figured out with the sketch how I wanted the muzzle to look, and I was able to give him a quite large nose pad. Sometimes I do like the more cartoony nose pad like I did here. Other times I'll go in and kind of make them a little bit more angular and draw in the nostrils and things, but I thought for this guy it looked a little nicer to just kind of leave it like this. So I'm trying to give him the parts of his character that are definitely Dodger while also doing what I would do on my own character. So if somebody's going to have whisker clots, if they're going to be that obvious, I like to actually draw the whiskers in. I don't like to just have the little breaks in the nose there. I like to actually draw the little whiskers. I just like to do that. I also like them to be asymmetrical. So, but his is obviously through the same on the sides. The arms for me were a lot more difficult. Then I was trying to kind of show on the side. I was like, okay, well, if I draw them very fuzzy the way I normally would in a static character illustration, it would not work on an animated character. So I was trying to keep that in mind too, because this character is designed to be drawn over and over and over again for television, for an animated film. The stylization choices need to be simpler. Fur needs to be like in clusters of 2 or 3, so that you can animate that over and over again and make the movement smooth and easily tracked without it looking too static. And that's something that I try to keep in mind with my own character designs as well. I can take a little bit more liberty with them because they are just static. However, I want them to be easily recognizable and to have a simple kind of stylization to them. So I like to try to kind of keep all of that in mind with this. So after I finished the line art for him, I went in and kind of did like a base color. I wanted to go ahead and add his little markings. Trying to clean up the line art a little bit there. Again, this is sketchy line art. If this was like a proper illustration or a commission for somebody, I would go back in again and do a much cleaner line art on top. But for this exercise, this is plenty good enough. I'm trying to figure out where all his markings are. Put those in there. I like the body that we ended up with at the end, where he's got like the thicker front half, the larger chest area, and then it kind of gets smaller up towards the back. I think that suits this kind of terrier, short and stocky character pretty well. I was playing with the colors, but I did not like how the colors looked here, so I'm going to fix all of those in a minute. A couple of things I did learn from this exercise so far are that I definitely do a lot of things just out of habit and just because it feels nice and because I like how it looks and there's really no other reason to it. So I think sometimes that's okay. As far as character designing goes, sometimes just saying, I like this is what I want to do. And that's fine. But I want to be more intentional about how I'm designing things. I want to say, okay, here's a character. Why do they look like this? Why do they have that posture? Why do they clothe themselves this way? Why do I draw all of my characters with a lot of scruff and then have very few that are smoother? Is that a stylization choice? Is that something I'm doing just simply because I like how it looks? And do I need to be more conscientious of that kind of a thing? With drawing Dodger, obviously he's supposed to look a little unkempt. He lives on the streets. He's not going to go out of his way to try to clean himself up a whole lot. There's really no use or need for that. And I actually like drawing really scruffy, lots of, hairs and fur sticking out the wrong way. I didn't go too crazy on him, but I do like that kind of look on a character. So I just really quick did his eye colors. I wasn't really sure how much I wanted to do there, but I didn't want to go too crazy because, again, I'm trying to keep this sketchy and simple. I didn't like some of the color choices I had made initially, so I went in and fixed those. Went ahead and blocked in the color on his bandana, and then, it's an iconic red bandana. So I ended up going in and changing it to red in a little bit here. But yeah, so overall, I think the pose is pretty boring. I mean, being honest, looking at it, this is a very just like static, simple, boring kind of pose. I wasn't trying to push myself too much there. I just wanted to draw the character, make him recognizable, make it very obvious, just his daughter. That's kind of all that I was doing here. I wanted it to be a quick, kind of brief exercise, and I kind of want it to be mostly like that with all of these that I'm going to do, but I think with time and as I get more comfortable and I'm trying more of these, I can probably push myself to come up with better poses, and probably push myself to do make more drastic choices and create better designs and be able to draw the characters to where they are recognizable, keeping it within the stylization choices that I generally have, and also pushing myself to match those and do more than I normally would be comfortable with. So like, this drawing of Dodger for me is very comfortable, but it is boring as far as the pose goes. I didn't really push myself too far. Like even the muzzle itself ended up being very comfortable. I like this design. If somebody sent me, let's say Dodger was an original character, somebody sent me this guy's like model sheet and said I would like you to draw him for me, I mean, this is what I would end up doing. This is comfortable for me, this makes sense, these style choices make sense to me, and this is what I would end up, turning over to a client as far as like a sketch would look. So with that said, I like a lot of the outcome. I think in general I could probably push myself more. I probably could have shortened that muzzle, probably could have given him a little bit more character in the face. I think I can probably play more with like poses, and he's also not quite as stocky as he needs to be. Looking at the final, his final references, like the actual screenshots from the film, my little drawing of him still ended up looking a little bit taller than he really should be. So that's something else that I kind of need to take into account and probably play with a little bit more. I'm not used to drawing a character like that, and that shows. So I think this was a pretty good exercise for me to do overall. I do really like this. I'm going to keep doing this. I don't know who I'm going to do next. I'm going to take different characters, whether they're the human characters or animal characters. Probably just going to bounce around to different films. If I see something that inspires me and I go, oh hey, I want to draw that, I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll pick from some of my favorites. If people come across this video and leave comments with characters that they would like to see done, I am always open to suggestions. They don't have to be Disney, they can be anything. If people end up suggesting like anime or Ghibli film, those are going to be a lot more difficult for me because I'm not used to drawing those kinds of characters at all. But again, that's part of the entire project here, is for me to try things that I am not used to. Taking characters and shapes and features and making them make sense with the kind of stylization that I have. And I think that would be pretty cool to do. So I'm definitely open to suggestions if anyone has recommendations or wants to see somebody drawn. It can't be original characters. I'm not doing those right now. I will do those eventually. I have done those before. But for right now, for this series, I want to specifically do, pretty well-known characters from film and TV shows. Cartoon, for the time being. I think down the road, maybe doing actual actual live action character art might be kind of cool, but I'm not there yet. So yeah, I've got this little illustration for us of Dodger. That's all I'm going to do for today. The next character, I'm not sure who it's going to be. I will figure that out and get the next video up as soon as I can. I'll probably do these every few weeks. And yeah, I'm excited to try to do more. I'm trying to learn, like I said, more about character design and the choices that are being made, and make sure that I actually am happy with what I'm doing and that I'm making conscientious decisions, and I want to push my designs more. This specific exercise definitely showed me that I can do quite a bit more of that this is very comfortable for me, but I definitely want to push that and do some more. So yeah, we will definitely keep doing this. I'll keep uploading as long as I'm creating these videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you have suggestions or characters you'd like to see drawn, go ahead and post those below.